Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Get Growing weekly work session with GetOiling. I'm Coach Ashley. We are joined today by our founders, Greg and Amanda Kilwine.
Hey, everyone. We're glad you're here today.
Hi, everyone.
All right, so today, you guys, this is a very exciting training. This is not something that I have taught on to you guys in a very long time, and maybe not ever in this very specific way. Today, we're going to talk about Facebook. Now, this is kind of my baby. For those of you who don't know me, I got my start in network marketing, way back in 2011, 2012, and Facebook was the magic sauce for me. And the thing is the basics of what I learned in my companies that I worked in going back to way back then work exactly the same as they do for you guys right now. But there's a really important kicker, and I have shied away from teaching this to Young Living distributors because there are so many layers of question and nuance where there's product and compliance and all of this type of stuff. Well, for your benefit, we have partnered up with a lady who hit gold inside of 6 months this year in Young Living, and she did this on Facebook. Now, we have a special training tonight, this Thursday, November the 14th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to have a live webinar. If you are not registered for this, please go to getoiling.com/gold-in-6. Gold in either the number or the letter 6, as in 6 months. Go there now. We're going to have a amazing training tonight that's going to get into all of the nitty-gritty details of how Martha Krejci hit gold in 6 months. Now, today, I want to talk with you guys about some of what we're going to cover tonight and actually kind of get down into the philosophy, right? Because the fact is if you are going about this with the right mindset, using Facebook can be incredibly easy and effective. And then, of course, tonight, on tonight's training, we're going to be breaking this down with Martha on exactly what she does and how. So again, getoiling.com/gold-in-6. Now, if you guys are here today for the first time, I want to invite you to say so in the chat. We're happy to hear from you, or write it as a comment below this video when it's posted later on YouTube. We welcome you. This is a training like we do every week that is open to any distributor in Young Living. We're here to help you grow. It's totally free for you. We do this in service of the community. Now, you could also, if you are not a GetOiling member yet, you can also head over to getoiling.com and get started today for $1. Now, if you have questions, if you need help, if you want hands-on help today, do go ahead and start putting that into the chat and into the Q&A so that we can get that addressed. Hi, Marie. First time, not a member. Good to see you. I know you're upline. How's it going? Good to see you. All right. Awesome. So,
quick question. So was the webinar at 8 or 8:30? I see the page shows 8:30.
That's correct. I'm sorry. It is 8:30.
8:30? Okay.
It is 8:30 because we want to make sure Amanda can be there too. Yes.
Awesome. Yes.
All right. Yes. Cool. So 8:30 p.m. It will be recorded for those of you on the other side of the world. There will be some time-sensitive things that you're going to want to take action though on. So if you are planning to watch the replay, just be Johnny on the spot about it. We'll get it out to you as quickly as possible. All right, fantastic. So excited to have you guys here. We've got members, non-members, new folks, people who haven't been here to this training before. Excited to have you. So I want to first, before we really start getting into sort of the how and what about using Facebook, I want to dispel a couple of myths really quickly, because these are two reasons why you may not be putting effort into Facebook. And there are also reasons why a lot of us can kind of get stuck in this business. Number one, Facebook is real popular to hate on right now, right? Like this is kind of high time for people to say, oh, well, I'm not on it anymore, or, oh, people are leaving it. And the truth is, yeah, some of them are, and the people who are tend to be kind of loud about it and proud about it. And that's fine, to each their own. But the numbers don't lie. Facebook is one of the biggest parties on the planet that's going 24/7 around the world. And it is really kind of hands down the best place to meet people if you have a business like you do, and you want it to get to people from all over the world, which again, you do. So think of Facebook like a gigantic barbecue, right? Where you may be the host or your friend may be, everybody's got their own little sub barbecue thing that's hanging out there, but everybody's just kind of chilling, just having a good time there. And there are tons and tons of people there. There will always be more people coming on, right? Which leads me to my next point, the other myth that we need to dispel. There is no such thing as saturation. Okay. I know that if you live in a local market, this is an experience that has a lot of Young Living distributors. This is an experience that you can definitely feel, but that is a bubble, right? You have a personal social bubble. There's a very high likelihood, save for you homesteaders, and we definitely have a fair amount of homesteaders in our community. You probably don't know 50%, right, of the people who live nearby. But when we're talking about getting onto social media, which if you're homesteading, I hope you're using Facebook because you got to meet more people, right? So there's always more people. And even if you feel like you are in a bubble and there are tons of distributors and it's an echo chamber for you and you just think everybody already knows everything about it, understand that that is a limiting mindset that is going to hamper your growth personally and your growth in business. The fact is that there are billions of people around the world, people who are eligible to become distributors, to purchase and use product. And the vast majority of them have never, ever heard of Young Living. And I'm talking about in the markets where Young Living can be distributed, okay? The opportunity is there. There's always people growing older, right? And becoming more interested. There's always people who are growing in their awareness and their desire to live a healthier, more fulfilled life, to get their bills paid for, to, get their lifestyle paid for, and of course, go for the crown. So I want to put those out there first. Now, I want to ask you guys, because I want this to be interactive, right? We got a fair amount of people who are on here right now. How many of you are using Facebook right now? Quick show of hands to try to get people interested, try to get people engaged, and to hopefully get new members for Young Living. Okay, a good majority of you, right? Okay, now I'm gonna take our hands down. And what I'd like to hear from you guys in the chat right now is, what is your number one frustration? What is the thing about using Facebook to try to grow Young Living that frustrates you the most? I'd love to hear what that is. And this is going to vary based on the approach that you take, but you're probably going to see a lot of similar comments from your fellow attendees. Knowing when and where to post, that's definitely one, Gwen. Mixing my friends and business, that can get tricky, yep. How to set it up, what needs to be done to maintain it. Awesome, yeah, you guys have got some a wide range of things, right, that you're facing. And these may, even though you might not have said it, it's going to sound familiar to you if somebody else says it. People saying they're interested in an event instead of a firm RSVP. Got you. Okay, so let's talk about what we should, keeping it compliant, that's a good one too. Let's talk about what we should expect from Facebook. Okay, I think a lot of us, we see the results that other people share, or we see people who are winning in a big way. We see people who are growing teams. They seem to have a lot of influence, and we try to deduce exactly what it is that they are doing, so that we can try to get that result for ourselves, right? I mean, can we agree that's generally what we're doing? We're looking around us. Okay, hey, she seems like she's really rocking it. I'm going to try out what she's doing, right? How many of you guys have done that? Just quick show of hands. All right. Yeah, most of us, right? And good on you for it, because you are taking positive action toward your growth. Here's what you need to know. The mechanics of what works does not translate literally to what you see. The people who are succeeding on Facebook are doing something, and it's not promoting, right? What they're doing is they're developing influence and trust, and they're piquing people's curiosity. If you have a confluence of those things happening at the same time, you have an opportunity that can turn into a new member, right? So our expectations from Facebook need to be such that you are asking people to engage with you on something that matters to them, and you are providing an open door for them to walk through, right? Again, kind of going high level philosophy here. The idea is not to promote, because what happens, like if somebody puts an interesting idea or a product out there for you, don't you go and Google it, right? Don't you go and look it up? And especially before you spend $100 on it, you're going to go and look it up and research it, right? That's what most people are inclined to do. If you are coming from a promotional perspective, you are giving people that reason to go and look and research and find reasons why not. So that's one thing that we need to lay down right away, is that Facebook is not a promotion tool in an explicit, I am going to post a thing and now people are going to buy a thing kind of way. There are channels inside of Facebook where those things are possible. You know, if you're selling a chair, on Facebook Marketplace or something like that, then that's a fine application. But for you, a distributor of Young Living, for you, someone who is out to help people change the way they're living their life, the way they're buying their products, the way they're treating their bodies, their wellness, their family's wellness, you need to get their attention. You need to build curiosity. You need to build trust and influence. And then you need to open the door to opportunity that allows them to ask you questions, and then for you to show them Young Living as the answer to those questions. Are you tracking what I'm saying, guys? Quick show of hands. Does that make sense? What we want to do is get people interested, get them curious, and then have them trust that you know what you're talking about enough to say, yes, please, let me have a conversation with you about this. Now, on tonight's training, we're going to go into some of Martha's very specific examples of things that you can post, but I can give you guys some ideas here right now as well. Just think about it this way. The reason why most people who have seen the posts that you may have made that are sharing a picture of a Young Living bottle, a bottle of oil or a product or something to that effect, or a promo or some image that is explicitly, I am promoting Young Living, right? The people who have not purchased there, the reason why they have not made that decision is because we haven't established the bridging of the gap, which is, okay, you have a thing, so what? What can it do for me? What will it mean for me? So one of the things that we're going to talk about on tonight's training is how you can actually create a thing called a curiosity post. And what this means, very simply, is figuring out what your product is that has made, we just start with one, your product that you love of Young Living's that has made such a huge difference in a specific area of your life. And without saying the name of the product, without saying the name Young Living or talking about Seed to Seal or kits or anything like that, you say, I am so grateful that this result has happened for me. I never believed that I would be able to live this way, feeling this way. Because that's going to make people go, oh, what are you talking about? What's that? Because let's just say, I've been struggling to lose these stubborn 15 pounds for years. You guys, I just got to say, I'm so grateful that, I finally did it. And then of course, the people who have that similar problem, struggling with that similar thing, who already find you credible and know you and love you, are going to be either in the comments or in your DMs saying, hey, tell me about it. What is it? Right? Then you've got that audience. Does that make sense? How much more effective do you think it would be if you planted seeds, right? If you just gave the idea, instead of saying, hey, I sell Young Living, buy this one oil, it's on sale right now. People can understand that there's a thing that they want, and you're talking about how you got it and how you know how to get there. Of course that person wants to hear why, and of course they're going to understand without you having to defend the price or talk about the mechanics of how stuff is made or how we're better, right? You don't have to have those conversations because they want what you have. And what you have, what got you to where you are, is Young Living, right? So we had a question that came in. Greg, do you have that handy by chance? We had a question submitted about Facebook strategy, and I would love to address that. And guys, if you have any specific questions that we can go over here together, we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, let me find it for you. Excuse me. Where's that at? Here it is. Okay, so Kelly had asked, let's see, thank you for all you're doing here. Okay, so I've never been a fan of the public posting part of Facebook, nor do I have many Facebook friends. I mainly use it for groups and private messages. I know I need to get out of my comfort zone and learn to do it anyway for the growth of my business, so I'm willing to learn. My question comes as a result of a post I saw someone complaining, or a post I saw of someone complaining about people who send a friend request and immediately start trying to sell something. I'm sure this approach will not be salesy, but I wanted to ask if you could include how to go about this for someone who never posts anything unless it's in a group. And since I'll need to add more friends, how do I avoid being that person she was talking about? Thank you. Good
Oh
question
yeah,
there.
I love that. It's such a great set of questions. I want to go over all of these. And Kelly, thank you so very much for submitting this question because I'm going to go all over this right now. So, all right. Now, I want to talk to you guys about something. Going back to that barbecue analogy, when you go to actually thinking about you at a barbecue, think about the social environment, the sort of feel, the vibe of a barbecue. When you're invited to and show up at a barbecue, do you pop over to all of the different people who are there, you know, where you see somebody who's not currently engaged in a conversation? Do you pop up next to them and say, hey, you want to buy my stuff? You know, or do you just come and just say, hey, I've got a thing, it's on sale, right? You want to behave on Facebook as naturally as you would as yourself, your normal self in a social environment. Talk about the things you would normally talk about. Start the conversations you would normally want to start and have, right? Obviously, yeah, you can be strategic about the things that you post and the things that you say. But when you're going about your day-to-day social life, are you authentic if everything is always strategic all the time? Of course not. And people can sniff out inauthenticity. So just go be yourself, be your best self. And what you post, what you share should be things that are important to you, that are helpful to the kind of people that you want to be helping. This is another thing that we are going to be getting into in greater detail on tonight's training as well, where you're really going to kind of figure out what your, I think what Martha calls it is your bat signal. Your, what is the thing that you shine out into the world, the thing that you have, the transformation that you have experienced yourself, that you want to help others along toward that end as well. You want to help others transform too. So let's just say, for instance, that you had upper respiratory issues, and then you had a friend that introduced you to thieves. Over time, you traded out all of the chemical cleaners in your house. You use thieves for everything. And lo and behold, guess who doesn't need all, the Claritin every spring? Something has transformed for you. You're breathing easier than you ever have before. You went from having issues that were very annoying and sometimes expensive to having a new way of living. So what do? You don't post a bottle of thieves, right? What you do is, as you start questions, asking people, maybe go grab a long, crazy ingredient name from like the back of a commercial cleaning bottle and post that and say, "Any of you guys know what this is?" Would you put something like that had this name near your dog? Or your 2-year-old or something like that. Just put the question out there. Just start having conversations with people that help to educate them on the things that you're educated on, so that you can help them to make better, more informed choices. Now, again, what we want to make sure that we're doing here is not running up to them at the barbecue and saying, hey, you want to buy my thieves cleaner? What you do is you start asking them questions, right? You say, hey, what do you do? Do you love what you do? Is it what you want to do forever? Hey, what do you think about such and such thing, right? You're starting conversations and you're consciously understanding that as long as you're listening and you are being a friend, and this goes to the question that you had as well about, friend requesting somebody and then, just going straight over into their inbox to pitch. You are friending people on Facebook who are not currently your friends so that you are actually making more friends. Building rapport with people is not just a transaction in the age of selling on social media. What you're doing is you're actually literally making human connection and making friends with people. So be the friend that you would want to have and show up the way that you would want your friends to show up, which is in a supportive and informative, funny, if you got a sense of humor kind of way, that's the most important thing that you need to know is to be authentic. And, you wouldn't walk up to, if you're in a bar, you're not going to walk up to every patron and ask them to marry you, right? You got to go out on a couple of dates with the right one first. So you have to build that relationship. You have to build that trust. And you just have an enormous environment to curate that, bar, if you will, to keep that analogy, to find a bunch of the right people. So yeah, do not be the person that goes out and just starts selling something to the first person that they see, because you wouldn't do that in person, right? Of course not. Let me see if I missed anything here. If you don't post often, you do want to get in the habit of posting more frequently. The answer to the question of what you post is, honestly, what conversation do you want to start? You have a public forum that belongs to you, that's at your disposal. What are the kinds of conversations that you can start with people to help to open their minds up to new ideas, the things that you've learned as a result of being a part of this company, right? Of learning the things that you now know about your product. And this is also the question of not being salesy. Again, if you are fostering an opportunity for conversations to take place that have a specific benefit, and you are sharing with people, hey, I am so grateful that I can breathe easy again. My friend told me about this one crazy thing 3 years ago, and I've got to tell you, it transformed my life. #grateful. Like, just, you could put something like that out there. And of course, the people who are like, well, what is that? I want to know about that. Let me know more, right? Then you've got the opportunity not to pitch, but then to get into the inbox with people, right? Or get onto a Zoom call or a phone call and start asking them questions. What is it that's got you interested in this? What is it that you've got going on that's got you interested in what I'm talking about here? Have you dealt with these problems too? See, and then you take this conversation toward Young Living being the solution to the problem that they ultimately share with you. Does that make sense? Quick show of hands. Let me know if that's making sense for you. So Facebook, if you're doing this the right way, is simply your barbecue where people you invite and you want to be there can show up and experience so the good food. I'm not going to go too deep into this analogy, guys. But they're going to experience who you are. They're going to come to trust you and get to know you better as a person. You have to understand that when you make a new connection, they're not going to be your bestie right away, right? That's a super rare thing. So it takes time and it takes investment, but you can do this at scale on a platform where there's 1 billion people, right? You can have 7 DMs going at the same time, asking someone how their day is, where they're from, do they have kids, and so on, right? And listen, when you are kind of talking about the magical thing that you're grateful for, it does not have to have a direct line into a Young Living product or product line, right? You could talk about how grateful you are that as a homeschooling mom, you've got kids who are actually doing their work in the afternoon and not bouncing off the walls, right? And moms who aren't even homeschool moms are going to be like, wait, hold on. How'd you do that? Tell me more, right? And you can share articles that other people have written. Again, it doesn't all have to be Young Living. People aren't going to join you or buy from you because it's Young Living. They're going to join you, buy from you because of you, and because the line of relevance that you're able to draw from what Young Living can do to the problem that they share with you because they trust you, right? They will stay with Young Living because it's Young Living. But putting Young Living out and waving the flag of Young Living is something that can work for you if you already have influence, and it might work a few times. It might be a fluke. It doesn't really duplicate. It doesn't really duplicate in a in a rapid sense either. That's where people start to feel this bubble, this echo chamber of, oh, everything feels so saturated. But if you can be the person who shows up relevantly to the people that are around you, that you're cultivating a relationship with, they'll take whatever recommendation you make to them. Now, I think I see a Q&A question here. How do you handle when you create a curiosity post and then others comment with a link for their product for sale? Oh, well, Diane, I would first, if it's on your own wall, I would delete the post and then send a private message to that person. If they are someone who's also in Young Living, you could maybe recommend that they come over to the weekly work session and get some free training. We could certainly help them here. If they are in another company entirely, you could just send a polite message and say, hey, I appreciate you engaging here, but I don't think that my community really wants to see solicitation. Let's talk about how maybe we can work together to help each other grow our businesses. And maybe this is a person who could then learn about Young Living and they can join your team, right? So you got some opportunities that could open up there. Awesome. Oh, Cynthia, great question. What is best to set up, a page or a group? What I'm referring to and what we're going to be talking about with Martha on tonight's webinar does center around having a personal profile. This is not a page. A page is for a business. And yes, you do have a business, but having a Facebook page and using it kind of puts you in the pay for play or pay to play loop on Facebook, which basically means that in order for you to get the most out of using a Facebook page for business, you got to pay Facebook for people to actually see what you're posting. Her strategy very much does utilize groups, and we're going to talk about what that looks like on the webinar tonight. I want you to hear that from Martha directly because she actually has, and I want to transition here into kind of telling you guys a little bit about what we're going to go over tonight on our training. She has a method of using Facebook groups that is fascinating to me. It's different than how anyone else I've seen with Young Living are using Facebook groups. It is a way to use Facebook groups that could very likely avoid you ever having to feel, what am I looking for here to be nice about it? Facebook doesn't love network marketing. And sometimes they will kind of drop the hammer on groups, or they will penalize and not let people see posts, or they shut things down, all that kind of good stuff. The approach that she uses prevents any of that potential bad stuff from happening. And so it's really, really exciting what she's doing there. And it's something that you can set up whether you are brand new, whether you're tech savvy or not, right? No matter where you are in your business, no matter where you are in terms of tech, it's an approach that can work for you, and it's actually duplicating. That's kind of the most fascinating thing to me about what Martha's approach is. She went gold in 6 months. Her team went gold in 6 months this year. She got started, and 6 months in, she's at gold. And this strategy is duplicating for people. So this isn't about having, the big top leader figurehead and that's their group and so on. You build your tribe this way. So you're going to learn how to do that and how she does that on tonight's webinar. Let's see. And Chantal, it will be recorded. The webinar will be recorded. So I want to talk with you guys about the main things that we are going to go over. Again, go over to getoiling.com/gold in 6, and you can register to attend there. Let me see. I've got a page over here I need to open up and show. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to kind of read this off to you guys. If you have any questions, while we're still here, go ahead and send us a question. And actually, before I go over this really quick, where keeping it compliant is concerned, Kelly, this approach that we're going to be talking about, you don't have to worry about compliance on the front end, right? And I'm not saying you don't have to worry about compliance, go talk in non-compliant language, right? It means basically the things that you're going to say aren't the kinds of things that would cause any kind of worry around compliance. A big issue with compliant posting online has to do with the fact that you are literally taking a Young Living product and language that must be compliant for those two things to go together. Where you are creating curiosity, you're not being explicit. Where you're being explicit, you have to worry about compliance. All right. So if that's important to you, which it should be to all of you, you're going to want to check us out tonight. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I think everything is basically covered here. If you have any questions, you guys, please do come over and pop in. So the first thing that we're going to cover, like I mentioned before, is discovering what Martha calls your bat signal. This is really kind of figuring out what the magic sauce is, what it is that makes you really light up about Young Living, and getting that into language that's going to inspire curiosity. We're going to talk about her strategy with using Facebook groups, and there's several kinds that she uses. There's, one that she actually uses that's just for prospects. We're going to talk about what that looks like. You're also going to learn about, I can't get too far into it, but you're also going to learn about this, and this is the big kicker for me. There is a group strategy that Martha uses that will make even people who have been pitched Young Living 10 times before say yes to you. All right. This is really, really cool. You're going to want to hear about this. And then finally, there's that curiosity post, which is a lot of people arrive at, okay, well, how do I do a curiosity post? And the fact is, you've got to know how these other things fit in the strategy before that post can work. So that's what we're going to be covering. We're also going to talk about a special bonus that we're going to be offering as well. For those of you who have ever been interested in really building influence, growing a tribe, growing a group of people who want to engage, creating a community who would be perfect to convert over to Young Living, we're going to talk about how you can do that tonight. So make sure you get over to getoiling.com/gold-in-6. Jennifer asks, I bought her Golden 6. Will there be more than that tonight? Yes. Yes, there will be. Absolutely. So for those of you who are familiar with her Golden 6 program, Martha actually does have a group, a program that she's created called Golden 6. What we have partnered on together takes that to the next level. So what she's been teaching works. And what we have worked on together is putting a system in place so that this can scale for you, so that you can get more of this done in less time and be twice as effective at implementing what she teaches. Awesome. So we have a question here. I wanted to ask about bilanguage posting. What do you recommend for people that use a personal Facebook profile to post but have both English and other language families, etc.? Do you start separate profiles? No, always keep one profile. Only use one profile on Facebook. And actually one of my clients and one of the leaders in one of the teams that I built years ago, she's bilingual, has a bilingual team. She will write her first post and she speaks Spanish natively. So she would put Spanish and then below she would put English. Sometimes it would be the other way around. So basically just a translation. So you'll see it in Spanish and then the English below, or vice versa. I recommend that you do both. If you are bilingual, just write your translation right there. Awesome. And do definitely, really, you guys, do not create a separate Facebook profile for business. You want to be able to build real community, real connections with people. If you have a separate Facebook profile that's just for Young Living, where you just promote Young Living, who at the barbecue wants to invite that person over? Right? They want to invite you over. You, the dynamic person who has a family life that they talk about, who has interests that they talk about, and so on. You want to show up and have it be you. And that's what people need to see more of. So I hope that helps. If you guys have any more questions, I hope this has been really helpful to you. And I hope that you are all over there registering. GetOiling.com/gold-in-6 is going to be a killer training tonight. And we're really, really excited to bring this to you. Let's see. Do you suggest to post Facebook with pictures of oils in the background? I don't think that there's a problem with including images of the things that you use. It needs to be something that's authentic and in the moment, and not something that is staged or contrived. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to write a big post of gratitude and then have the oil right there, we're not necessarily inspiring curiosity. If, like, we're saying, oh, here you can see the brand name and the name of the product, they can go Google it now, right? Instead of coming to you and having a conversation with you, right? So yes, you can have it. I'm not saying that it's problematic for you to have it. I just don't think it should be a thematic thing for you. I don't think it should be a thing that you have everywhere. If it shows up sometimes, it's a part of your life, totally normal, totally natural. But you don't want it to be your main deal. You don't want them to look at you and say, oh, she's just going to come talk to me about oils, right? Like, they're not going to try to come have that conversation with you because you've already put everything out there. There's nothing left to be curious about. As my great grandma used to say, you've got to leave something to the imagination. Good questions, you guys. Do you have any more questions before we get rolling? GetOiling.com/golden6. Get yourself registered. How many of you guys learned something new today that you are going to go and put to use? What are you going to do when you go get on Facebook today? What is the thing that you are going to change? Tell me in the chat what you're going to do a little differently, or maybe a lot differently today when you go to Facebook. Delete my business page, says Glenn. You don't have to delete it, but your profile is far more useful if you're using the strategies that are along the barbecue philosophy, right? I'm just going to call this the barbecue philosophy. All right, make a post with questions. Yes, already deleted them as you talked. Yeah, if you guys have been to many of our trainings, the trainings that I've done here for Amanda and Greg and for GetOiling, what we have talked about is really just using everything that you put out into the world, everything that you share, whether it's your profiles, your web page, and so on, to view those things as tools that generate trust and curiosity, so that people believe that they can come to you and ask you questions and get help. Because if you can put yourself in that position psychologically, emotionally, with the people around you, then you are going to have a never-ending stream of opportunity to connect with people who are ready and interested and excited to get started. Awesome. Thank you guys for your participation today. I think I have one more question that came through. Can you recommend some Facebook lingo? I feel like a weirdo when I try to post about Young Living. My thinking changes and so does my language. That's such a great question. So the reason why you feel like a weirdo is because you're trying to do something unnatural, right? So just, again, imagine you're at a barbecue and you just wanted to say something and spark up a conversation. If you're not a particularly blue or red person, this may be why we need to talk about some lingo here. Maybe, maybe you wouldn't be, trying to start a conversation with a bunch of people. Maybe you're the person that finds the dog and hangs out with the dog. That's definitely who I've become in life. So if you don't want to feel weird, then think about how you would speak conversationally. You're not posting about Young Living, and that's the other thing. Part of the reason why this feels weird is that you're like, oh, well, I want to post about Young Living, but you don't want to post about Young Living. You want to think about a piece of information that you now possess as a result of being a part of Young Living that has fundamentally changed something important for you. Talk about that. Right? Is it a shift in your wellness? Is it a shift in your relationships? Is it a shift in your self-image? Is it a shift in your thinking? What is it? Right? Talk about that. Talk about things related to that. So let's just say, for instance, I'm going to go super vague here for the sake of compliance, but let's just say that you were dealing with some real digestive wellness issues, right? And you have discovered a whole slew of products and you don't struggle like you used to anymore. Okay. Now, what are the things that you can do and say and post that can get people engaging in conversations about these things that might help people who are dealing with some of those similar things to self-identify and start conversations with you on your Facebook page, or on your profile rather, on these posts that you make? These can be articles that you find valuable that are maybe talking about ideas or concepts or methodologies or treatments or whatever. Start conversations with people, right? So that you can get over into the DMs, right? And say, hey, you know, I struggle with that for a long time. I didn't realize that you did too. You know, if you're interested, I can talk to you about what I did, what I used, right? So that's natural. Think about it this way. You aren't posting on Facebook to sell Young Living. You are posting on Facebook to lead the way for people who are looking to a better life, right? Young Living is a part of that picture, but it's not the only part of that picture. So when you go to post, go to strike up a conversation about something that is very important to you that you now know that you didn't know before you were here. All right. Now, how do you keep the Young Living in? How hidden do you keep the Young Living info, as our GetOiling link is just a few clicks away from them knowing that I sell Young Living? Good question. This is going to vary based on your preference. There are several schools of thought here. The attraction marketing, sort of pure attraction marketing way of looking at this is definitely that you keep everything Young Living behind the curtain. I don't believe that that has to be the way you do this. I believe that it's possible for Young Living to become a part of things that you say and share that's just as natural as you talking about the fact that you have an Apple computer or a Samsung phone, right? You're not trying to convert people onto Apple or Samsung when you're talking about those devices. So where you are, where Young Living comes up and it's just a natural topic, it's a brand you use, and you don't get weird about it, right? Or feel weird, or, you know, kind of feel like you need to get cagey about your language, then it's fine for it to be there. But it doesn't need to be your banner, your flag, your brand. You are your brand, and that's the brand that people trust until they come over here and they understand what Young Living is, right? Then they fall in love with it like you did. All right. And and also with GetOiling, you can adjust your GetOiling website and the information that you share there accordingly, like to the strategy that you want to follow. If you want to keep everything behind the red velvet rope and nobody sees anything that's Young Living, you can set your page up that way. You can set your GetOiling site up that way if you wanted to. You could also keep it just as it is, where it is, you know, when you sign up, you've got a beautiful, interactive, fully built Young Living brochure website that you can just use as a sharing tool. Like you got a lot of options there. So it's okay for people to know that you sell Young Living. You're proud that you sell Young Living, and you should be. It's a great company. But what you don't want to do is be the person that people make a beeline away from at the barbecue because they know that you're just coming to sell them something, right? So just behave like you would at a barbecue. All right. What do you recommend to say when people in these conversations ask, what do you do? Radka, that is a fun question to answer. I would get creative with this one. Think about the benefit of the benefit. The benefit of the benefit in this case being you have a product story or you have a business story, right? Like if you are someone who is earning an income, earning a living from your Young Living business, that's always the conversation that I like to kind of start when people ask me that question. Is, you know, I help people break free from the rat race. What do you do? You know, you can, and Radka, I know you're a red personality, so I can tell you that. And I know that you can go crush it with that. So, and that's always a great opener too, when you meet somebody. So what do you do? And they tell you, and you say, well, do you love it? And most people, if they have a job, are not going to say that they love their job. And then you say, oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Are you going to do that forever? If I could show you a way to do something that you love, would you be interested? I love those recruiting conversations. But when people ask you what you do, just think about the question they're going to ask you next when you answer them, right? Have that kind of prepared in your mind. So the benefit of the benefit here, if you had these digestive issues, the digestive wellness issues, and you overcame them. And you know that there are tons of people who dealt with the same things that you did. You can say, I am a wellness consultant and I help people, make the changes that they need to easily to live better, feel better, so on, right? Just depending on what your secret sauce is. Awesome. Radka, thank you. And we appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of the community. All right. I am going to answer one more question before we go. Cynthia asks, how do you let people know you're going to teach you're going to a city to teach classes for 2 days if you don't say Young Living on Facebook? Listen, you don't have to not say Young Living, period, right? The fact that you are going somewhere completely different from where you live to go and teach, to stand in front of a room, to be an authority on a thing, that is posture. That is interesting. If you are proud of that thing that you're doing, then go for it. If you want people to show up to that event and that's why you want to post about it, then maybe you say, depending on the nature of the class that you're going to teach, Cynthia, you can say, I am headed over to Boise and I'm going to be teaching 2 classes this month there on how you can transform X, go from A to B, right? Not to say I'm going to go teach Young Living or I'm going to teach Essential Oils 101. You say, this is, for this season, I'm going to be teaching this topic. And then you've got people who are like, oh, well, I don't live there, but can you tell me about that? Right? It kind of depends on what the end is that you're looking for here. If you want people to get curious so that they go to that class, or so that they send their friends to that class and so on, you want to not just say, I'm going to be teaching Young Living. It could certainly be on your profile. Again, this Young Living is not something that you need to hide. It's just not the thing that you need to be shouting out of a megaphone, right? Hi, Jennifer. So this is perfect. She says, how about who's in Boise? I used to do this all the time when I would travel to a new market and just start recruiting off of Facebook. Jennifer, you're exactly right. And I know you're a Facebook recruiter. I remember you. So how about who's in Boise, and then message each one and invite them one by one. You can't wait to see them there. Yes. Yes. You are 1000% right. Yes. So if you're going into that new market, you could even be a little more secretive and generate a lot more curiosity and just say, who's there? I'm going to be there for a couple of weeks. That's perfect. All right. Okay. Last one, Shelly, and we're done. All right, Shelly. Hey, I have a GetOiling website question for after this class. We can talk about this right now. Is there a way to set up events on the events section of the website, but not have them show up yet until you're ready to have them go live? Oh, I have recurring classes. It would be helpful to go ahead and set them all up, but don't want a gazillion events scrolling to overwhelm people. Just want 3 to 4 to show at a time.
Yeah, so for that one right now, you'd have to put a time in the past. You could just have one like, this morning or whatever, just set them up for that. And then when you're ready to go live, you can move them to the right date. There is no like disabled or whatever hidden event setting right now, but so basically the event disappears once the current time has passed. So if you backdate it, then it won't show up. So that's probably your best approach right now.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So I hope that helps you. That's a great idea, actually. So yeah, for those of you who use GetOiling to manage your upcoming events, if you want to just go ahead and create a whole bunch of them at once to batch your work, batch your time, put that date in the past. Perfect. All right, fantastic. Thank you guys for being here, for sticking around, for asking great questions and participating. Don't forget, head over to getoiling.com/golden6. You are going to love what we put together for you guys tonight. All right, we'll see you on the next one. We are here every Thursday, noon Eastern time. Bring your questions, and if you're ready and you don't have us yet, we have the complete system to help you grow your Young Living business. Head over to getoiling.com. You can get started today for $1. All right, we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.